42 gold medals will be handed out at the Singapore World Championships 2025. On this week's podcast, we're going to break down event by event and give our gold medal predictions for every single race. We're going to get some right, we're going to get some wrong, we're definitely going to disagree on some topics, and we want you guys to get involved as well. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Propulsion Swimming Podcast. What is going to be, Dan, I think our biggest podcast leading into these World Championships. It's now a week out from the games and we are going to give our event by event, I want to say preview, but more of a prediction. We're going to go through, we're going to guesstimate, if that's a strong word, on who's going to win gold, because that's not all that matters when it gets to a World Championships, but it's somewhat what matters.
Yeah, I think it does matter quite a bit, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
We're going to get some events absolutely bang on. Let's face it, some events are extremely easy to call. But then there are some events where it's more than a coin flip. There's like 5 or 6 names that could potentially win. So, like you said in the intro, we are going to disagree. We're going to agree on quite a few, I imagine. But there's some big ones that we're going to disagree on. And by all means, leave your comments down below about your thoughts on who's going to win these gold medals.
Absolutely. Now, before we get started on the disagreement and agreement, because we're going in blind, we're going to debate this. I don't know what Dan's picked. He doesn't know what I've picked. I want to let you guys know that this week's podcast is brought to you in partnership with One Flow Aquatics in Summer Bay, the newest destination for your warm weather training camp on the Red Sea in Egypt. And you can book your next training camps now or just inquire about what the facilities have on offer by following the link in the show notes of this podcast, which takes you over to renowned sports booking agent Sports Abroad. Okay, Dan, let's get into this podcast because we've got 42 gold medals to go through. There's a lot of events there, so this is going to be a fairly chunky podcast, but it's a preview of a World Championships. It is a big podcast that we're going to be doing here. Some of them we don't need to dawdle on.
Yes.
And how we're going to do this, I think if this is all right with you, we're going to go through the women's side of a stroke, then the men's side of a stroke. So freestyle, all the women's races, men's, all the freestyle races, and vice versa, and until we get to the relays, essentially. And we are going to do the relays. We've done world record prediction podcasts leading into these championships. We haven't given the relays in there. We'll talk about them now.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, let's kick things off then with the women's side, and obviously we're going to start with the 50 meters freestyle, of which it's going to be, I think, an incredibly close call who wins this. It's not as deep or as strong as we've seen over previous years with no Sjostrom there. I think there's a few star Aussies missing in Shayna Jack, but that doesn't mean Meg Harris couldn't hold her own for the Aussies. Mm-hmm. But heading into these World Championships, there's 2 standout Americans who have a chance of winning gold here, I think. Gretchen Walsh and Tori Husk, both very similar in the fact that they race the same events, both slightly different in the fact that Gretchen's a bit of a slower starter, even if she has like the fastest underwaters.
You mean reaction off the blocks?
I do mean reaction off the blocks.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm getting at. Whereas Tori Husk is phenomenal off the blocks.
Yes. Yeah.
My prediction for this one, and we're going to rattle through these. I'm just going to go off form of the American trials and say Gretchen won that in an American record. She is trending upwards, as she has been over the past few years. I know Paris we'll get to the 100 fly, wasn't quite what she wanted when it came to that event, but I think she is the swimmer in the ascendant, and I kind of, with no Sjostrom, think the 53 is hers to lose at this point.
Well, she's the fastest this year with the American record, of course, but I do believe her and Husk they're going to be at loggerheads in this event. They're probably going to be trading off American records left, right and centre. I think she's only like 700ths off Gretchen's time, which is, I don't know if that's considered a lot on a 50. I suppose it's the difference between like first and fifth, probably, in a 50-meter race, which is quite a big sort of chunk in places, isn't it? But I think I do agree. I think it is Gretchen's to lose. She doesn't have the quickest reactions off the block, but the underwaters kind of do make up for that. And she is able to hold her own when it comes to swim speed, of which I think Tori Husk is quicker, but the underwaters have such a damaging effect at the beginning that no one can live with her and that you just run out of pool space in the end. And that's the reason why I'm going for Gretchen as well, and I expect that American record to be broken by both of them. I think Gretchen will be the one that holds it, or continues to hold it, up until the end as well.
100 meters freestyle then. It's kind of the same characters in the sense of Tori Husk and Gretchen Walsh are both racing it. But then you throw in superstar Aussie in Molly O'Callaghan, Dutch swimmer Marit Steenbergen, who's looked phenomenal over the past few years and again has been making massive drops. I actually thought the 200 a few years ago was where she was going to be making strides on an international level, but it's the 100 that she's second in the world going in. This one's, I think, a bit harder to, not a bit harder to predict because the 50 is reasonably hard to predict, but Tori Husk is heading in fastest by 0.3.
Yeah. That's quite a bit, isn't it, over 100?
It is.
I think. She swam really well at trials, I'm not going to lie to you. Gretchen obviously swam slightly better in the 50, but when it comes to the 100, I think Tori Husk this is her event in terms of distance. She's obviously very good at 100 fly as well, but I think 100 free is her event. But then again, it's Molly O'Callaghan's, is it second event? I'd say she's more of a 200 swimmer potentially. That's up for debate, actually.
She's been pretty good at the 100 over the past few years.
I suppose it's a bit of a jostle or tussle between two different tactics. Tori Husk gets out quick, and then Molly O'Callaghan comes back quick. And then other swimmers like Steenbergen, like you say, Hawkey, they all go out relatively quick as well. I do believe it will be O'Callaghan who will be doing the sort of Chalmers kind of thing, turning near enough last, or the Popovich should be the Popovich really. Should be turning near enough last, but then coming through and reeling them back in on that final 50. Will she have enough pull to be able to do that, enough speed to come back? She hasn't had the best build-up, she's admitted, but we're not going to dive into that because we don't need to. I think she will. I think she's a bit of a racer. I think she'll get the gold, even though she's 0.3 off, like you say, Tori Husk on the fastest time this year. But I don't think it's going to come down to time too much. I think it's just race the race, get the hand on the wall. And Molly O'Callaghan is very good at that. Very Chalmer-esque and Popovich-esque.
I kind of... Popovich-esque. We'll get to that later on. I kind of agree with you. I think even though the time this year at Aussie trials hasn't been where O'Callaghan's been over the past few years, she's a 52.0 swimmer on her day. And I mean, given... I know the build-up's not been what she would have wanted to be based on her interviews after Aussie trials. I still think she is...
You don't want to say class because then you've got other swimmers who are also incredibly good.
She's proven.
Okay, that's...
I think that's the... She's proven at a world's level to win this. I don't know if Husk is yet, but this meet could be the making of her in the 100 meters freestyle.
Yes, I think ultimately it'll come down to tactics, and I do believe that the sort of back-end speed pays dividends in the hundreds nowadays, whereas I love the tactic of going out hard, a bit like your Jimmy guys, go out hard and see if you can hold at the end, but it does seem like if you pace it correctly, which Molly O'Callaghan does basically every time she swims, it does pay off in the end, and that's the reason why I've gone for an 100 anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm not going to ruffle feathers here. I think Molly O'Callaghan in the 100, although it's going to be tight.
Yes.
Very, very tight.
2 agreeances already. That's
rare. Well, it might be getting more common as we go through this. Some easy picks soon. But one event that is not going to be easy to predict at these World Championships is the 200 meters freestyle. Again, because actually all of the times heading into this World Championships, I mean, from a fair few of the swimmers, they're where they should be, but Molly O'Callaghan's going in fastest, but with a 1:54. Like, she's much, much faster than that on her day. Does she need to be a 1:52 swimmer? I don't know.
If you're going PB plus 2, that's relatively comfortable, I suppose. But of course, with the build-up, I don't want to talk about it again. But to go at 54, that you know there's room in the tank for her to find another second or two, which will, I assume, be good enough to win. But then you've got other swimmers like Palliser coming through. Claire Weinstein was on fire this year, May sort of time. So I think like she did a really good 400, which has bode well for a 200. Maybe she's a dark horse to potentially win this as well. And Hawkey hasn't actually, if I remember correctly, hasn't really swam it this season at all. So who knows if she's going to do it? Yeah. So be very interesting. But I've gone with, should I call it the safe bet? I've gone for O'Callaghan again. So I think she's going to do the 1 and 2 double. Again, for very similar tactics. So I think she'll just race the race and do enough to reel them in and overtake them on the last 50.
Okay, I'm going to group the next 2 events together because they need to be talked about in unison. It's the women's 400 meters freestyle and the women's 800 meters freestyle. So in both of those events, we're going to have Summer McIntosh and Katie Ledecky. They're head-to-head that, in all honesty, is going to be the narrative of these World Championships, whichever way you want to look at it. If you're not a fan of either of them, maybe you're not a fan of swimming. No. But I'm going to start with the 400 meters freestyle because I think this one's slightly clearer cut. Even though Katie Ledecky has gone a 3:56 this year, which is in phenomenal form. She did that at the Tier Pro Series. Summer McIntosh has just taken this event to a different level. And all she has to do is swim what she did at Canadian trials, and I don't think Ledecky can live with her. So she's going to be my pick in the 400 meters freestyle.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to disagree with you, Al, or McIntosh not winning this event. To be 2 seconds clear after very, very recently hitting that world record as well. I think maybe, let's say, Ledecky she'll go sub 4 definitely, like on her best day. She might go a 3:55 in my opinion, which is still
is crazy to think it's not good enough for God.
I know, that is insane, isn't it? Once upon a time, that was the world record.
Yeah.
So she might be able to go that time, but I don't think it's going to be good enough to beat McIntosh. It is a shame, again, kind of similar to 200, a shame that Titmus isn't racing it, but swimmers need their rest after what was short Olympic cycle last time out as well. So, and I don't think that's Ledecky's main focus of 400. I think that is a Summers to lose. The 800, however, is a different game altogether, and I'm going to let you go first because I haven't decided who's going to win yet, so I'll try and think of it in my head.
Nor have I. I think this is an absolute coin flip. They've both swam phenomenal times this season, in season. Like, I know it's in season. They were both at trial meets, but neither of them needed to fully taper for those trial meets.
Yeah.
Just their stature and how far they are ahead of their domestic rivals. But Ledecky's hit a world record this year, and there is still conversation Summer's going to get her, which...
I didn't think that world record was never really supposed to go. Ledecky, I thought, sort of peaks maybe, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and now she's suddenly back at the
it's not.
higher
she's
than
back
what
at
she's
the top
back.
now.
Yeah, ridiculous. At the age of, I know it's still quite young, 26 or 7, I think it is. Like for most, that's when you kind of do peak. But she was in the game so young. Won Olympic gold at 15, I believe it was, in London. She's been around forever. And now she's only just started to go with her best times that she's ever done. It's a mad race, and McIntosh is now only a second behind her. I'm trying to talk myself into figuring out who's going to win this race. I'm trying to imagine how this race is going to play out, and I'm trying to go from Ledecky's mindset of you've got this young superstar, generational talent, a bit like yourself really, coming at you.
Do you call me a generational talent?
No, bit like she is, Katie Ledecky.
Oh, you said a bit like yourself, and I was like, I'm a generational talent.
No, oh no, I've got to do it again. So I'm putting
leave that in.
I'm trying to put myself in Ledecky's shoes of you've got this young generational talent chasing you, even though you're a generational talent yourself, obviously being Katie Ledecky. How is she going to attack it? I don't know if she's got based on the Tier Pro Series, she does have the back end speed. That's the reason why she's second clear. But I do think when you put them head to head, it becomes a mental battle, and you've got to break that swimmer next to you. And Katie Ledecky is amazing at that. That's the reason why she's so good and won so many titles, Olympic titles, world titles at these distance events, because she does go out quite hard for the first 200, and then it's almost too late, and everyone else is fighting for second. Whereas I think McIntosh might be able to live with that pace. And then
I
it
thought
might come
you'd
down...
talk yourself into it then.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it comes down to a final 50 shootout, of which then, based on the world record, you have to say Ledecky. But then...
Summer's 2-3 is pretty outstanding.
This is a thing. I don't know. I did say the psychological mind games, if there is any. And, of course, Ledecky being the veteran, do I give the edge to Ledecky based on that? Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go for a Ledecky. For that reason. It's a pretty weak reason, but I'm going to give it that reason.
It's really, really tough because schedule-wise, I don't think anyone would have thought this, but I think McIntosh has the harder schedule compared to Ledecky. I know Ledecky does the 4, the 8, and the 1500, but McIntosh has got so many other events going on, like IMs and 200 flies, which is not an easy event, and she is chasing, and she is going to be chasing world records in most of her events. Let's be honest with you. Probably 4 out of 5. She's got a very, maybe even 5 out of 5. She's got a very good chance of world records.
Yes.
Which could pay against her, but it didn't at Canadian trials.
No, I was about to bring that up.
Shorter meet.
Yeah.
And I just have this momentum feeling about Summer. And it's just...
It's so difficult because I'm not going to disagree with you because it's the biggest coin flip, apart from, let's say, your Kaylee and Reagan from a couple of years ago, that there's ever been in swimming. Like, I've got no idea.
We've been doing this podcast for 5 years. When have we ever sat down, done a preview prediction, and talked about the 800 freestyle on the women's side?
Well, never really, because it's been a procession.
Exactly. And we'll get to it. The 1500 will be here for about 10 seconds.
Less than that, probably. Yeah.
But I'm going to go McIntosh. I think the momentum, and I'm still presuming she's racing this. If she's not racing this and the schedule changes during the meet, then we're all going to be fairly disappointed. Let's be honest.
We are.
But I'm going to go McIntosh for momentum. I think I know Ledecky's hit a world record in this event, which is crazy that there's not momentum. But I
suppose the question at the end to you is, the world record going to get broken to
I think both of them go under it.
That's mental, isn't it? So they're both going to go around 8.3s. That's incredible.
Yeah, I saw someone in the comments section on a previous video we did say 801 is in reach. I was like, blood. I was careful not to swear.
You nearly swore. 801 seems a little out of reach. I think maybe let's say Ledecky or McIntosh will get there at one stage somewhere down the line, but I don't think so yet. Again, split-wise, it's going to be very difficult.
You never know, though. Like, fully tapered, both of them looking each other in the eye. We've not had that since an in-season meet last year when McIntosh got the better of her. No,
and that's the only time she's got... That's maybe another reason why I picked Ledecky, because Ledecky hasn't lost this race ever, apart from that one time to Summer. And you think she doesn't want that to happen again. So that's maybe another reason for that. Difficult one. I mean, we've covered both bases. How about that?
Yeah. Comment section on YouTube, whichever one you... Right, we need to speed things up. So, women's 1500 metres freestyle. Katie Ledecky?
Ledecky, probably. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone who should get close to her. She is still in a class of her own, even though lights of Lani Palliser are ever improving.
Yeah.
She's by herself. It's not bread and butter, but she's by herself.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's move on to the men's side then, because the men's 50 metres freestyle is close heading into these games. Yeah. And Cam McAvoy has been... It's been phenomenal over the last 12, 24 months. He has changed sprint freestyle for the good. You speak to even sprinters who are his rivals in the pool, Ben Proud, he's not thankful of what Cam's doing, but he's taken note of what Cam's doing, and he's staying in the sport longer than ever because of the methods that Cam's using.
Yeah.
He's very close to Jack Alexi going into these games, and Cam McAvoy has a baby on the way. Maybe by the time we're recording this, or when this goes live, baby's here. I saw someone put on YouTube that the new child is a distraction to Cam McAvoy.
I don't know.
As both me and Dan are recent fathers over the past few years, distraction is the wrong word for a child.
It is for sure.
I actually think it's a new motivation. I think it could very much be the next step for Cam McAvoy. And when we're talking next steps in the pool over the past... 4 weeks, 6 weeks, when he was at Aussie trials, the fact he's improved his first 15 metres...
That's the scary thing,
I'd say Ben Proud level, not quite Caleb Dressel level, Ben Proud level. That's the scary thing, because in the pool, he has been the fastest in the pool for the past 12 months. No one's been close to him. It has been the first 15 metres. Aussie trials, he got that right, really right.
It sounds like you're picking Cam. Am I mistaken?
I am picking Cam.
Right, okay. I also am going to pick Cam, basically for the same reason you just said. I think the first 50 metres, I wouldn't say it's been his weakest point, but it probably is over a 50, because swim speed-wise, he's the fastest in the pool. I don't think anyone can sort of question that, but he was always behind your Ben Proud or Caleb Dressels from before, because they were able to go your sub 5 seconds to 15, which Cam couldn't do. 0.1 over a 50 is pretty massive. And that's where Cam sort of struggled, I suppose. That's his weakest part, and he's very much put that right. So if he can do that again in the final, of course it's got to be in the final, he's got to go through the rounds, but if he can do it in the final and then have the same swim speeds as he's had over the last 2 or 3 years or so, then it's very difficult to beat him. I think the only one who... Well, there are a few to get close, to be fair. You'll get Ben Proud, of course. Jack Alexi is his closest rival time-wise going in. I suppose Jack Alexi, swim speed-wise, is probably the closest to Cam as a guess, but he doesn't have the start that your Ben Proud or now Cam does either. So I think Cam McAvoy is the one who's going to win gold, in my opinion.
Yeah, my heart wants to actually put Ben forward as well.
Oh, of course.
But
as long as he podiums, I'm quite happy with that. But
yeah,
I'd love him to get gold again.
Would love him to get gold again, but I just think the improvements that Cam has made in his first 50 metres cannot be ignored.
Yes.
Okay, I'll group these together then. The men's 100 free, the men's 200 free. This season has seen a resurgence in David Popovich outdoor swimming fast. I'm in jest. Outdoor. He's fastest in the world this season heading into these games with 2 phenomenal times. Let's be honest with you.
Yeah, very good.
To get anywhere close down to Pan's Analyse world record in the 100 metres freestyle 4 or 5 weeks out for the World Championships. Hugely impressive. 200 metres freestyle at 1:43. Massively impressive. Again, can anyone beat him? Can anyone challenge him? The 200's a bit more of a toss-up. The 100, we have no idea. We'll say this for a few of them. I don't know where the Chinese swimmers are at, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know what Pan Zanla looks like when he heads to these World Championships. We'll know after day 1, after the 4x1 free relay. He could be in all world-beating mode.
Yep.
But for me, the 100 free... Based on what I've seen this year, I know Alexi's gone sub 47 as well. Chalmers is looking very good.
Yep. I did see a comment actually saying there might be 5 people that go sub 47 in the final, which
that would be
I'll tell you
wild.
what, it would be good if that were the case. That would be sensational. Imagine going sub 47 and not coming on the podium. 2 sub 47s and not getting on the
you'd be
podium.
fuming.
Man, that would be tough to take, I think.
Before I pick 100 free, what's your thoughts?
I am in the boat of Panzanle. Obviously, we don't know where he's at. He went a 47.7, but we're hearing that he was ill for Chinese nationals. So we are completely in the dark. Maybe he'll be fully recovered by the time Singapore happens. I can imagine this race is going to be labelled as a head-to-head, but I don't know if it is. Like you said, some of the names: Alexi, Chalmers. You could throw Matt in there potentially for the 100. There are some other big names in there that could challenge for the podium and gold as well. But I'm going to go, if I'm going to say my prediction now, I'm going to go off things that I've seen and witnessed already. And for Popovich to go 46.7 is hard to not pick him, if I'm honest, even though Pan's gone his ridiculous world record from last year. I think
I agree because it was so close to World Championships as well, which logically dictates he's not fully rested for Elliot or European Aquatics under 23s.
Surely
he shouldn't have been.
Surely not. For a meet that's like that standard compared to Worlds, and only got Worlds 4 weeks or 5 weeks after the under 23s, and he's going those times, surely not tapered. Maybe had a couple of days rest, but other than that,
maybe.
We don't know. We're guessing. But yeah.
The only thing would be maybe his tactics don't work in a crowded pool, coming back as fast as he does. But it's always worked for Chalmers. Let's be honest with you. Popovich comes back faster than Chalmers now.
Yeah.
Whether he can go faster than his swim, I don't know, because the pacing, look, if you're coming back sub 24 seconds, that's all. For me, that pacing feels bang on.
You're not going to get any better than that, I don't think.
Coming back, maybe he just goes out harder and potentially we see if he can come back as strong.
You're playing with fire, I suppose, then, because you're going to try and
repeat
the same. Yeah, exactly. You want to try and do the same tactics of what you've just done, because that 46.7 might be good enough to win. Let's not beat around the bush. That's probably good enough to win, but he's just got to replicate that same thing. So I don't think he's going to change tactics and then suddenly bomb the first 50, because then the strength of his, which is the back end, will be hindered terribly. Will he be drawn into a bit of a shootout for the first 50 if Pan is on fire? Then who knows? But I don't know. We're such in the dark with Pan. We don't know. So I'm going with Popovich just because I know where he's at and we know the time he can go, and I suspect he's going to go something similar again.
I'm going to agree for logic's sake.
Okay.
Based on what we've seen in the swimming pool in 2025.
Yeah.
200 metres freestyle, I've said we'd group them together. So Popovich is the fastest in the world this year. There are closer names to him than the 100 than what we've seen. So Hobson has gone a sub 144 this year. But again, same logic as the 100. What I've seen in swim pool, surely it just gets faster. Surely it just gets better as he gets rested into the games. And don't get me wrong, I really want to root for the Brits in this because the 200 metres freestyle has been the British event. I think there's one, depends who's doing it. We don't, at the time of recording, we do not know the second swimmer for the Brits. I could see Matt going a 143. I could see him getting down to a 143. My question would be, how fast Popovich swam? Is there a 142 that we potentially see at these games? Maybe a 143 low is more realistic.
Yeah.
Or does he get caught racing the race? But if he gets caught racing the race, the way he finishes his races is a massive strength as well.
Well, based on what Hobson...
I'm just going to go Popovich and 200 metres freestyle and stop thinking with my heart and thinking with my head.
Based on what Hobson did, he actually took it out really strong. I think it was 116 to 150 and then faded on the final 50.
He did fade, yeah.
And it's very much the opposite of what Popovich does because he kind of builds or kind of holds pace throughout the race. So it's a difficult one. I suppose he is the fastest going in, but only by 0.1. Like, it's basically the same time as Hobson. I think Martins will go a sub 44. I think the entire podium is going to go 43, which is mental. And you just said Matt could do it as well, so you might have the top 4 going 43s, which is insane. I think there's more in Popovich. I don't know if he's going to go a 42 again, but I do foresee something like a 143, 1 or 2, something like that, which is then good enough to win, I would say. I'm in the same boat with you. I think Popovich is going to do it. So we have O'Callaghan and Popovich, for my picks, doing a 1 and 2 double. I think I said that for the Olympic Games as well, actually. I'm trying to remember now. But yeah, I'm standing by it anyway.
Okay, moving on to the 400 metres freestyle then. Lucas Martins, he has gone a 340, gone sub 340 400 metres freestyle this season. Who knows if he was fully rested in Stockholm? Might well have been if you're going a world record. I kind of hope. I really hope he was.
Yeah.
But if you've broken a Paul Biederman world record in a freestyle event, the ones that were standing super suit records that were, the splits are just mind-boggling. I'm sorry, you are favourite. You are my pick for gold. No matter how much I love how Sam Short races 400 metres freestyle, how Sam Short has swam this year is very, very impressive. But I've witnessed Lucas Martins on poolside at the AP race London International. I've seen him go in season. Maybe he was a little bit rested because there's a 10k prize pool. But if you've just gone a 339, you're going to struggle to win that prize pool, to be perfectly honest. And I've seen him in season go a 342, which would still put him second in the world. I'm going to go Lucas Martins. But I have huge respect for what Sam Short does in the swimming pool.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to bet against Martins being a full second, maybe a little bit more over Sam Short. I think the spectacle of the race will be actually very entertaining with Sam Short racing the way he does, being really gutsy, gets out there really strongly. But based on the world record that Martins did, he went quicker than what Sam Short did at Aussie Trials by like a second. So actually, I'm trying to work out who's going to turn first at 200, or are they going to be basically level? I imagine they're going to be level. And then it's a bit of a war of attrition of who can last on that final 200, of which maybe do you give it to Sam because of the distance, but then it's just the world record that Martin's hit. I mean, I'm trying to remember the splits, 147 and a 152 or something like that.
Yeah,
to come back in a 152 is incredible after just going to 47. Yeah, I'm going for Martins, although I think Sam Short gives him a good run for his money. I think Sam Short will go a 340. Or will they both go 39? No, I think Sam will go 40. And then... I don't know, actually. I've thrown myself under the bus a little bit.
You didn't need to give that prediction.
No, I know. Is Martins going to hit a world record again? He might do, you know.
I don't know.
He might take a little bit off, like a shave.
Fully rested, but maybe he tries to race the race and knows he can...
Well, that's just it. It's a different game.
I don't know if you do know you can...
I think he shaves it like the smallest amount, like a couple of hundreds,
which
or something
would still
like that.
be phenomenal.
Oh my god, yeah, that would be incredible. And I think Sam Short will be very close to that as well.
800 metres and 1500 metres freestyle. I'm going to put these two together because it's usually the same pretenders. Although, I'm going to go left field with my 8-3 prediction. I'm going to tell you that now.
Oh.
So, we haven't seen a huge amount of where swimmers are at this season in the 800 meters freestyle. I know there has been a European record in the 800 meters freestyle from a German swimmer, Sven Schwarz. So German freestyle is on the up. Yeah. Bobby Fink has looked very, very impressive in his races, albeit not in the 800, the 1500 and the
4IM.
Ironically, the 4IM looked phenomenal. American trials.
Yeah.
But we've just been talking about this guy, and I think he's going to be fairly annoyed that a 340 doesn't win 400 meters freestyle. And I think he's still seething. The illness got him in Paris. And I actually think Sam Short is going to be a lunatic in this one and break the field at 400 meters.
Is that left field, though? Because he's like,
I don't know if it's left field, but you look at the names of Olympic champion Dan Whiffen, Bobby Fink, the Germans. It's going to be one hell of a race. It's going to be very different. Like, distance swimming has changed over the last 4 years.
Oh, very much
how it's raced.
This is a really hard one to predict.
I'm going to pick Sam Short.
Yeah, it's a hard one to predict because you look at the times they're coming in with, and they're all roughly very similar. I think your 1500s, they're in the 1550 sort of region. The 800, they're in their 740s region. I know there's seconds between these guys, but they're in that sort of 10-second bracket, which is kind of very normal for distance swimming. So it's very difficult to sort of separate or, think of who stands out more than someone else. I'm actually, I don't know if it's a bit of a cop-out, but I remember my Olympic picks, and I got it bang on. I said Whiffen for the 800, and I said Fink for the 15. I think Whiffen, as much as he is amazing at 15, obviously, but he does have a strong 400 in him, which is arguably quicker than Fink's, even though Fink comes back stronger with the last 50. I just think maybe Dan has a slightly stronger tempo that he can hold.
Maybe.
Yeah, something like that. And then Fink has the engine to keep going and then bring it home incredibly strongly on that final 50. So you can consider it a cop-out, I guess. But Whiffen, for me on the 800, I'd love Dan to win both, if I'm honest. And then Fink on the 15. I think, 15 would be good for Fink, I think. Yeah. Will he go the world record, though? I don't know if he will.
I don't know.
I wonder how he approaches it, if I'm honest. I'd love to see how he approaches it. I think he will race the race. Well, he went in racing the race before, but then found himself miles ahead and he just went with it. So, interesting. Well, we'll see, I guess. But Whiffen and Fink are my picks.
I'll go Short and Fink.
We agree on Fink, okay.
Yeah, I think so. Although,
I see the logic.
I've not seen as much from Dan Whiffen this year as usually we would have.
That's true. Yeah. That's very true.
He could very capably do the double. Absolutely.
They could all do the double. I suppose that's the thing. That's what makes it such a golden era.
Okay, freestyle predictions done. We're going to race through the women's butterfly predictions because out of the 3 events, I think these are 3 of some of the most predictable ones. So 50 meters butterfly, I've got Gretchen Walsh. Dan, do you disagree?
I have Gretchen Walsh. We should get the world record if we're going to elaborate slightly.
Oh, we've done a podcast on this already, Dan. So maybe people should go check that one out. Maybe it's within touch. It's I can't believe it's within touch.
I know.
Distance.
Yeah.
100 meters butterfly. Gretchen Walsh.
I'm going to go Gretchen Walsh and a world record, just so we're keeping on the theme.
Okay. She streaks ahead of the rest of the world.
Miles ahead.
In the 100 meters butterfly. 200 meters butterfly. Summer McIntosh.
It probably is Summer McIntosh, who's ahead by 3 seconds. Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to will her to the world record.
Is it a world record that everyone wants to see?
It's one of those ones like the Fink 1500 last year. Everyone wants to see that go. I'd love to see what Summer does.
If she does go and break that record, is that then the Summer to meet? It's going to be difficult.
Oh, yeah, that's could close.
Yeah, there you go. Makes you think, doesn't it? But it's going to be up there.
No, I was going to say that could be swim of the decade, but Leon Marchand's done some very special things.
Yeah, that requires more thinking. Hold on. Yeah, it's going to be up there.
That's a different podcast. That's a different podcast.
Yeah.
Men's side then. So this is where it does get complicated.
Oh my God, I'm going to call it now. This is impossible to pick. All 3 events. I do have a bold prediction on one of them, mind you. Is it bold? Maybe not bold, actually. Ignore that, actually. I'm just going to say that these 3 events are impossibly hard to pick. So we're going to be umming and ahhing, I think, quite a lot on these ones.
Yeah, so the 50 meters butterfly heading into the the World Championships, like the times swimmers are taking in, the top, how many here? Top 6, top 7, top 8 are separated by 0.2. 0.2.
Mental.
So the names are like Ilya Karun, Maxime Grosset, Niels Castagno, Ponti. There's even Kyle Chalmers down this list as well, which is might be why he said he's going on to Brisbane 2032 if his 50 butterfly is as good as it potentially is right now.
Yep.
Out of, I think for me it's the top 4, but I mean there's an Egyptian swimmer, El Arabi, who could get in there as well. He's been swimming really fast at the men and Austrian meets. I'm, for no reason and no reason whatsoever, I'm going to go Maxime Grosset.
He did have a very good 100. Maybe that's part of the thinking. This is such a difficult one. Because a 50, anything can happen, obviously. You have a bad start, or you don't enter as streamlined as you could do. The breakout isn't quite as slick. You don't, like, any misjudge of the finish.
Between first and seventh in this field.
Well, this is a thing. Yeah. So if you're picking, let's say, Grosset, and he comes 7th, people are going to be like, God, that's a terrible pick. When actually, he's probably going to miss gold by like 0.1 or something ridiculous. That's how close this is. It is a bit of a pick him out of the hat, but my thought process is that he was in amazing form last year, end of last year, start of this year, short course, and I'm just wondering whether he can transfer it into long course. The underwaters obviously paid
you're going Ponti.
Strongly. Yes, I'm going Ponti. The underwaters were incredible short course. Yes, you only have to do it twice off the start and the turn, but the swim speed is pretty good as well.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, obviously no breathing on a 50 fly, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm going to go for Ponti just based on sort of previous form, and I'm hoping, he kind of has, obviously, going 22.7 is good. Whether he can then bring that through into Singapore and do it again, if not go faster. Even though I think he's 4th looking at this. He's 4th fastest going in, but they're all the same time.
It's 4th within a fingernail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm going for Ponti based on that. So a pretty weak reason, but that's the reason.
Could, in all honesty, it could go absolutely anywhere. You know what? Even if like Kyle Chalmers swims this and pulls it out of the bag, would I be surprised? Maybe.
Not overly.
But not overly.
Like other names, we haven't even mentioned Castagno, who we've had on the podcast very recently. He's hitting Dutch record after Dutch record every time he swims. So he's on massive form and the progress is clearly there. Yep. It wouldn't surprise me if he drops another 10th or 2, which is then maybe, is that good enough for gold? 22.5? Probably. I think the world record is a low 22.
That's like 22.2, isn't it?
It's something like that. I could have picked him based on previous form as well, but I've gone for Ponti now because I've stuck my neck out. So Ponti is the pick for me.
Yeah, no, honestly, we're going to get this wrong.
Yeah, well, I'd love to be right, but difficult one to pick.
Difficult one to pick. Okay, another event that is incredibly difficult to pick, following the same theme, men's 100 meters butterfly. Yeah. This one, even from last year, heading into Paris, obviously we didn't have the 50 butterfly at the last Olympics. Thank God we will at the next Olympics, because that's going to be fun. The men's 100 meters butterfly at Paris was it the hardest men's race to call heading in, based on the fact that there was 5-6 of them, which were
most exciting for sure,
sub 51s. There's a lot of them who are capable of sub 50, even if, like you just said, previewing the 50 fly, Grosset just missed it at the French Nationals.
Yeah.
I went first last time for the 50. You can go first on the 100.
Fine. The 100 fly for the men's side at Paris was the hardest to pick and the most dramatic race, I think, along with the women's 200 IM. And it's not any easier this year because you've got names like Grosset, who you've already mentioned. You've got Ponti, who I've just mentioned. Karun, we've already mentioned. Liendo, Casas, all going sub 51. In fact, they're going low 50s. I believe it's going to take a 49 to win. I don't know if is that crazy to think? No. Is it going to take 49 to make the podium? That might be a little more crazy, but it wouldn't surprise me at all.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I did go for Ponti in the 50. Does it make sense to go for Ponti in the 100? I haven't properly picked this race, if I'm perfectly honest, so I'm trying to talk myself into it. I did pick Liendo for Paris.
Okay.
There's no Milak, obviously, is there?
Nope.
Liendo had a very good NCAA season, didn't he? Hitting all sorts of records, both relay and individual. I'll go for Liendo, actually. Again, very similar to Ponti in terms of amazing form. Not the fastest going in. Look at the list, he's 4th fastest going in right now. But the underwaters are spectacular. Very powerful off the dive. Let's go for Leandro. I've talked myself into it.
Okay, I'm going to reveal behind the scenes here, Dan. I flipped a coin.
Did you actually?
I did
Between
flip
who,
a coin.
though?
Before one of the names you've mentioned, but not Leander.
Wow.
I flipped a coin between the star of the end of last year, Ponty. The momentum that he had in the short course season. He had momentum going into Paris and was very unlucky to finish, I think, 4th.
Yes, yeah.
And Grosset.
Yeah, I should have probably spoken about Grosset more. If I'm
Yeah.
honest. Yeah.
And my coin tells me that I'm predicting Grosset's doing the 50 and 100 fly double.
Wow. It's very difficult to not agree with you because it could very much happen. All of these guys, if I'm honest, could do the double. Karun could win the 50 and 100 double. By all means. Ponty, Casas maybe. I don't even know. So, I'm not going to disagree with you because it could go to any of those swimmers. The final field is stacked. Like, it could go anywhere.
Yeah. I just think, for me, I'm trying to justify a coin flip here and how the coin landed.
Yeah.
I'll justify Grosset anyway. The 50 speed that he's got and how he translates that over to the 100 has been one of the best in the world over the past few years. He is a former world champion in the 100 meters butterfly.
That's true.
Then again, so is Liendo. It's kind of a bit like my previous picks in the freestyle events, momentum. Like the momentum he's got from French trials, I kind of see that coming back through. But like you said, I'm not against your Leander pick whatsoever.
I think
not
it bodes
against Ponty
well.
winning this either.
It bodes well for the French relay team as well, if I'm going to be honest. I mean,
they were bronze in Paris, weren't they?
So you never know what they can do. But we'll get to relays later on in the episodes. But those 2 events, a 50 and 100 fly for the men's side, are going to be 2 of the hardest picks I think we're going to have to do. As well as the women's 800 free. That was very, very hard.
I think the comment section will disagree with our picks on that one.
Most probably. Yeah.
200 meters butterfly then. This one is hard for a different reason because we don't know where the Olympic champion is at in it. Kind of a little bit like a few of the names we've already mentioned. Leon Marchand is heading into these championships not blind, not completely unaware of where he's at, but in no reason, shape or form has he had to race rested so far this year. We've seen him race extremely heavy.
Yes.
And even then, we've not seen a 2 fly really rattle anywhere in the world rankings.
No.
But what he did to Milak last year was our race of the year. What he did to Milak in the 200 meters butterfly was our race of the year in 2024. I'm just not going to look past him. I know there's so many names coming through. Your Orlandos, your Thomas Heilmans. There's big stars coming through in the 200 meters butterfly, and it is like we spoke to Duncan Scott after he swam his Scottish record at British trials. The field is fast. It is. That final is going to be sub 154 potentially to make the final.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Don't know.
Close.
Quick.
Around about that. It's going to be fast. It's going to be fast.
Yes. Yeah.
But no matter how much I haven't seen of Leon Marchand, he has the track record. He has Bob Bowman in his corner, and taper usually goes right for a Bowman swimmer. Let's be honest with you.
Yeah.
I just can't pick against him after what he did in Paris.
Yeah. Is that the correct option? Because
I think it's the easy option.
Is that the easy option? I'm not actually going for Marchand. I'm actually going for Orlando, who is the fastest in the world this year. He just looks amazing at trials, at US trials. The come home speed was there. It's very similar to what Marchand did against Milak actually in that Paris final. No, Milak of course is a bit of a factor I think in this race, but Orlando I think he's my pick. I think there's just going to take some beating to beat him. Although it wouldn't surprise me if Marchand goes and wins it. So does this class as my bold prediction? I don't think it's bold enough. I'll think of another bold one later. But I'm going for Orlando to get a world championship title in this event.
Now, at point of recording, there is the very distinct chance that Marchand doesn't swim the 200 meters butterfly.
Oh, possibly. I didn't think of that.
Possibly, because we don't have the entry list that we're looking at right now. He might just be concentrating on the IMs, but I'm just basing off what he swam in Paris. He's going to swim again at World Championships, and that's why I've picked Marchand. If at the time that this goes live, here's your edit, here's your failsafe, this is what's happened.
All right, fine.
This week's episode of the Propulsion Swimming Podcast is brought in partnership with One Flow Aquatics out in Summer Bay. Now, a lot of this squad that we've gone through, especially those based in Manchester, a few of those based in Loughborough, have been out to their training centre in Summer Bay, Egypt, which of course was founded by the partners of this podcast, One Flow Aquatics. We've been out there to see the facilities. I know those who have gone out there really enjoyed the sun and the swimming facilities on offer, and essentially really enjoyed the facilities out there as part of their preparations to these World Championships.
Yeah, I see a lot of reels when they came back of them actually. You see bits and pieces of them swimming, obviously in training, but actually I think they enjoyed the golf and the paddle and all those other bits and pieces, go-karting, which actually make the camps worthwhile as well as the work in the pool and the gym. But yeah, it all comes into one amazing week or however long they go for. I think Manchester were there for about 3 weeks or so. So 2 and a bit, yeah. So it's an amazing place to train. I say this every time, but I wish I was still swimming to train out there because it really is an amazing facility. So yeah, do have a look in the show notes because it is worth having a go and look at.
Yeah, so if you want to inquire about booking your next trip to Summer Bay, whether that be at the October half-term break, when I know a lot of clubs go on their training camps at the end of this year, whether it's February at the start of next year, or maybe even a little bit of a tapered training camp heading into a Summer Nationals, which I know are going on literally as we're recording now. You can do that by following the link in the show notes of this podcast, which takes you over to renowned sports booking agents, Sports Abroad. And yeah, if you've got any questions as well about what it's like over there, what the travel's like, what the venue, what the hotel, anything like that, just drop us a message on our social media and we can let you guys know. Literally anything. How big, how small. I can tell you how big the calamari steak was that I had over there. I can go into that detail if you want.
It was big.
As well.
It was good. Yeah.
It was really good. Backstroke events then. Over recent years, the women's backstroke has just been dominated by two names, Regan Smith, Kaylee McEwen. 50 backstroke, I don't think either of them are favourite for the first time in a while in this one, although Kaylee McEwen is very close in the 50, but it is another American. It
is. She hit an American record as well. 26.9, I'm going off the top of my head here. Catherine Burkhoff, yeah. She is very similar to, I think, like Lauren Cox, for example. The arm and stroke rate speed is just off the charts. And I actually think, I'm just going to say my pick, I think Burkhoff will win this event. It's not going to be plain sailing because you have the likes of Regan Smith, Lauren Cox, and Regan Smith.
Has been going again.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think she's a 50 swimmer, mind you. I think she's more suited to
27-1.
1 and 2. Yeah, they're all extremely amazing backstrokers. This is a thing. We're dealing with an amazing group of female backstrokers right now for the last 5 years actually. But yeah, Catherine Burkhoff is kind of adding her name to the top 2 backstrokers in the world right now, especially in the 50, and I think she'll get it. I think she'll lower the American record. I can't remember what the world record is. I believe that is actually Kaylee McEwen, isn't it? She might get close to that potentially. But yeah, Catherine Burkhoff is my pick.
Now, this is hard for me because going into Paris, I said I would never pick against Kaylee McEwen just because I think she was the form backstroker in the world, in my opinion, even though Regan Smith had the world record in the 100.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to go away from that.
So you're just going to go straight out triple?
I'm just
again,
straight out triple Kaylee McEwen.
Wow.
That's just where I'm going to stand for a little while on the backstroke events, to be perfectly honest with you. The 50, we're talking about the 100 and 200. I think Regan Smith in the 100 is a lot more of a threat than the 200.
Yeah.
But I'm just not going to pick against Kaylee McEwen. It's just
interesting.
Standard. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I think she is the class backstroke swimmer, even though Regan Smith does hold the record in the 100. I think Kaylee is that seems harsh to say because Regan is actually incredible. Let's just jump to the 200. I think I agree with Kaylee. That's her better event. The pacing is just second to none. She is by far the best at that event. She went 2:04 at Aussie Trials. I expect her to go 2:3, which is then too strong, I think, for the rest of the world. Even though Regan will give her a close run for her money. Even Claire Kazan actually might give her a run for her money. Claire Kazan beat Regan at American Trials. So maybe add another name to top 4 now, you could say.
But could she go 2:03?
I don't know. I think she PB to go 2:05. I think from the outside lane, if I remember right. So I'm going McEwen on the 200, Burkhoff on the 50. The 100 is harder, and I have always done a coin flip for McEwen and Reagan Smith. I think for the first time.
Did you do one?
No, for the first time, I'm not going to do a coin flip. I am going to agree with you and say Kaylee McEwen on the 100. Again, I've just said this, but Reagan actually has the world record, but they're both very close to it. I just think these world records are so strong now. It's going to be difficult to actually get close to them and break them again, I think.
No, I agree with that. And I just think, I don't know if it's a mental thing or not. I just think the Paris momentum, and it's a pressure off situation for Kaylee McEwen in reality.
She's not doing the 200 IM either, is she?
She's not doing. It's taken out of her schedule now, which was always not questionable, but that was one hell of a hard field she was going up against in the 200 meters individual medley. But maybe the pressure is slightly off in the 50 and the 100, given that the Americans are faster this year.
Maybe.
And it doesn't feel like there's as big of an attention on this rivalry as there has been in previous years.
Well, I suppose the headlines, like you said at the start, will be Ledecky and McIntosh.
Yeah,
so
that's what I mean. There's bigger head-to-heads elsewhere.
Yeah.
Which can be quite freeing as a swimmer who has had eyes on her fairly strong for the past few years.
I wonder, as much as we hate to talk about it, but the first year of an Olympic cycle is kind of freeing. I think it's maybe the word that they will do more experimenting, like you see it with Ollie in the 200 backstroke. Like he'll go out hard, Matt with the 200 free, go out hard and actually see what it feels like to hit that split, and then see if you can come home. So there might be some experimentation, but I think Kaylee will do the 1 and 2 double.
I've got to do the triple again.
Yeah, and then Burkhoff will get a 50.
Men's side of the backstroke world, we're gonna get Homery and Homery, not Simpsons Homery. We're gonna get our British hats on later on this. The 50 backstroke is it hard to call? Now Kaleshnikov is racing these world championships. I'm not sure it is.
Yeah, he's definitely favourite. He has to be favourite. Can anyone get close? I think the 50, as much as he can do the 100, obviously, I think the 50 is his bread and butter. And I think he's a world record holder as well, actually. It's his to lose. He's the fastest going in. I think the gold could be his. That's my prediction for it anyway.
Yeah,
quite short one for me on this one.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think even though we've not seen him on an international stage, because obviously of what's been happening in the world, he's still been banging out some unreal 50 back times. Worldy 50 back times. And this is, I actually agree. I think the 50 is his best event. Obviously he's going fastest into the 100 as well.
Yes.
But I think the 50 is where he thrives. And maybe Chekon gets there. Maybe Casas gets there.
We don't know where Chekon is. We'll talk about this in the 100, but I don't know where Chekon is. Maybe Casas, you could throw that name in there. But I think Kaleshnikov is the one to beat.
Yeah, I agree.
Very similar to sort of Lauren Cox or Burkhoff. The arm action is incredibly strong, incredibly quick. The underwaters are quite strong as well. It's going to take some beating to beat him, I think.
100 meters backstroke. I'm going to talk about this from a British perspective, and anyone in the comment section who tells me I'm biased, cool. I agree. I am biased. I'm a big fan of Ollie Morgan. We've been up close and personal with Ollie on poolsides. I've watched him train in Birmingham. We've been lucky enough to see his progress for the past 3 or 4 years. Yeah. What I would say is the most exciting thing about Ollie Morgan is I still don't think he's hit his full heights. No. Because whenever you've seen him race a season, the drops have been made. And he's then, like take it last season, for example, he made huge drops to hit the British record at trials heading into the Paris Olympics, and at the Paris Olympics he backed it up with sub 53 second swims in every single round of the Olympic Games to get to an Olympic final. We spoke to him this year, and there's been a shift in the training. You can tell when you look at Ollie, it's been in the gym, he's stronger, and then this year he hits a low 52 and the drop was a 0.6 off his PB. It was a huge drop. I still don't think it's the end point. You speak to Ollie, he talks world record, which I'm not going to put the pressure on his shoulders at this meet of world record. I would love to see him go out and win the gold. I think if he goes sub 52, there's a chance.
Yep. Yeah. So he's going second fastest into the world's. Kalashnikov is fastest by only 0.1, well, less than 0.1 actually. But you have a huge amount of names that are in the low 52 area. I say a load, there's maybe like 3 or 4. Lafintsev is another name. Hubert Koss, who we will talk about later for the 200. I think that's his better event. But I'm going to be slightly biased here. I do want Ollie to win. I think he's got a fantastic chance of doing that. I actually believe, we watched it at trials and the finish wasn't perfect. I don't think it was as bad as what people make it out to be. Maybe he lost 500ths or something like that. So it's not quite massive enough to go sub 52. But I think he puts everything right. He's getting stronger, like you said, in the gym. I think that the tactics are clearly there. He attacks the races more now. So he's getting out there to put his name in front at the 50. And I think he's got the closing speed, or got enough closing speed, to actually go a sub 52 next week in Singapore. And obviously we haven't had that on British backstroke ever. So that would be something special. And then, like he said in the interview, the next target really, after going sub 52, is then to look at the world record, which is only 0.5 away, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in swimming terms it is, obviously. It's very exciting times all round, both for the relay as well. I'm going to go for Ollie as well. I'm willing him to win, honestly, willing him.
I'm going to finalise this preview by taking my unbiased hat off and say the rest of the field in the 100 metres backstroke, it's not like it's weak. Yes, there's no American superstar in Ryan Murphy, Hunter Armstrong. There's no proven name, but Jack Aiken is a phenomenal backstroker in his own right. There's no Aussie at all, which is weird to see. Yeah. Really, really weird to see. But there are names queuing up behind, like Thomas Chekon. We kind of briefly skirted over it when we previewed the 50. He's been out over in Australia training with Leon Marchand, training with a phenomenal group of swimmers over there for the winter. That sounds like an incredible environment just to get your teeth into and just enjoy that. I don't know what he's capable of this year because he's not had to show his hand whatsoever. So he is definitely a dark horse. Same with Xia Yu from China, who always shows up to a major competition. Again, a little bit like Pan Zhan Le. We just don't know what the Chinese swimmers are like. We don't see enough of their swims heading into the World Championships, and then they show up at World Championships, and you remember the names. Like they are familiar names every time at World Championships. They do turn up and perform. And you've already spoken about the 2 Russians, but Hubert Koss for me is maybe the biggest danger.
Really?
No, Kalashnikov is phenomenal. Kalashnikov is phenomenal. But Hubert Koss, the NCAA season of where he did the double to pip Johnny Marshall.
Yeah.
You've got to be a fast backstroker for that, like swim speed wise. I know his forte for me is the 2.
Yes.
But
Bowman
he is a Bowman. I was just about to say he's a Bowman swimmer who I don't think we've seen what he's capable of this year, and his time heading in is a 52.2. So
that was back in April as well. So he's had that speed for a while now.
I really want to get my hopes up, but it's not like it's an open door for Ollie to win the gold. And it's definitely not a sure thing. We are predicting a gold here with our British hats on. We're within our own rights to do that. I should say if I took my British hat off, it would be a coin flip between Kalashnikov, Leventsev, and Koss. I'd need 3 coins. And then there are some unknowns as well elsewhere that we will know by semi-final time whether the real Thomas Chekon shows up. Because Thomas Chekon on his day is... No one will get close to his world record. If he swims that on his day. Maybe someone does. But you know what I mean.
The field in backstroke, men's backstroke, maybe goes slightly under the radar. I mean, yes, we've taken out Murphy and Hunter Armstrong and all of the Australian swimmers as well. And yet we're still left with some of the best backstrokers that have ever lived. Like, they're all 52 zeros on their day, a lot of these guys. Chris Du, Xia Yu goes 52-0. Obviously, Chekon goes 51-6 on his best day. I mean, you're dealing with incredible talents. I think you alluded to Koss there, who is my pick for the 200, actually, based on what you've literally just said. If we're going to skip to that very quickly. I think because he's got that early speed of a 52.2 back in April, you could say it's an argument for Ollie as well because he hit that time in April as well. But with Kos being a 200-meter specialist, I think that speed will actually really help him in that 100 for the back end, so that last 50 meters. So I think he is a danger, as well as Lefintsev, just because he's so young and so sort of green, if you like. There are a lot of names to challenge here. Maybe we are being biased, but it's very similar to the men's 100 fly, where it could really go anywhere. But we're going with Ollie. I think we're both agreeing on Ollie. But it's not going to be just not plain sailing at all.
No, this isn't an easy, we're being, the bias outweighs any questions I have elsewhere, if that makes any sense. I'll round out the talk by just saying the 200 meters backstroke, I'm agreeing with you. For me, the pick is Kos.
Yeah. Bowman swimmer, everything you just said previously, basically, yeah.
There's phenomenal American backstrokes in the 200.
I think that Kos is not going in fastest. I think Jack Aikens is actually the fastest going in. But Kos with his Olympic pedigree, with Bowman in his corner, he's just had an amazing short course season. The underwater is obviously fantastic. I think it's his to lose, even though he's not fastest.
Okay, women's breaststroke events then. We'll start with the 50 because we always start with the 50. It's kind of I don't know if it's a wide open. You're going to have to go sub 30 to make the podium.
Yes, definitely.
Of which 3 swimmers this year have. And I'm kind of going to go on sentiment and vibes with my pick on this one.
Vibes. Ooh, okay.
This is the last year of Lily King in the breaststroke world. This is her last Worlds. This is her only event at Worlds. I'm going to go Lily King. She has been a stalwart. And if she's for so many years, she's had the target of the 100 and the 200.
Yep.
Now it's pure 50.
I actually thought she retired last year. I don't know why I thought that. Maybe
you did think that. Yeah.
Misread it or something. But I'm glad she's still going because she's needed in women's breaststroke. And this could be her last hurrah. It could be. I haven't gone for... I'm trying to remember the top 3 names right now. Pilato's obviously up there, but I'm going to go for a swimmer who hasn't actually gone sub 30 so far, I believe.
Okay.
I'm going to go for Tang. Very similar to what you said with...
30.01.
Yeah, very similar to what you said with Jorge earlier, where it's kind of a home games, give or take.
Kind of. Not quite.
Not really. But I'm kind of expecting... She was amazing over the last major internationals. I think she might just do enough. With breaststroke, it's just getting your hand on the wall first and timing that finish correctly, of which all of them could do it, obviously. I was tossing and turning between Tang and Pilato, if I'm perfectly honest. And I've gone with Tang for, in asterisks, home field advantage. I don't know if that plays any factor on a 50. I'm not sure it does. But,
I do want to remind you, Singapore and China are very different places.
They are very much so. It's just that part of the world. Part of the world is what
you're on about time zones, is what you're talking about.
Yes, yeah.
No adapting to time zones.
Which may play a factor, which we never really put into consideration either. But I've gone for Tang. That's my pick.
100 and 200 then. I think you can have a very strong case here for Kate Douglas in both of these events. She's definitely the class in the 2, although Chuganova is a phenomenal breaststroker in her own right, and I think she's the world record holder actually in the 200 meters. The 100, again, you've got Kate Douglas in there, you've got Tang, who you've just talked about in the 50, who did really well in the Olympic Games. You've got Mona McSherry as well for Ireland, who could potentially throw up. She got bronze at the Olympic Games in this one. I'm going to be a homer and go Anne Harrod-Evans in the 100. Biased hat like we had for Ollie in the 100 backstroke. She's the fastest in this world this year by 0.2.
Yep.
And again, like Ollie, she's constantly improving. The way that she has progressed since she joined Sterling, again, I don't think she's still only 21, 22. I do not think we've seen the best of Anne Harrod-Evans yet. If it's at this meet, if it's at a future meet, I think there are medals coming from her. And because I have that prediction in mind, I'm going to be biased and say Anne Harrod.
Well, I have very similar thoughts, if I'm honest, than with Ollie. We've spoken to them, we've interviewed them, and they both came away saying, right, I'm after the next stage, which for Ollie was a sub 52, for Anne Harrod it's a sub 65. And I genuinely believe that she has a great chance of going 64. And suddenly, if you're going 64, you're in the elite of the elite, aren't you?
Yep.
which then is going to take some beating, and that might be good enough to then win. Podium for sure. I'm really hoping she podiums.
Yeah.
I mean, her time of 65.3 might actually be good enough to podium itself. I'm trying to remember what won Olympics.
It would have podiumed
65.0,
in
I
Paris,
think. Yeah, exactly. So if she can go slightly quicker than what she's done, she's almost looking very good for a podium finish. I'm going for Ang Harrod as well, although it's not going to be plain sailing, much like the Ollie conversation. And maybe it's slightly Brit biased, but she's the fastest going in. She's getting quicker and quicker. The drops that she's had over recent years have been astounding. And the 200 is looking quite good as well. I mean, she just went to Seti Collie, didn't she? Went 66 there. And then 223, I think it was. So it looks quite good. It looks quite promising. I'd love to see her go 64, and then she's on the podium.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. In the 200, though, I'm going to go Grant. Against the curve? Is it against the curve? She's the fastest this year. She's got the world record. I'm going to go Chuganova. We've not seen her race. We've not seen Russian athletes really race at the international level for a while properly or taken notice of the swims that they're doing. She swims anything like she's capable of. I think she gives Kate Douglas a really tough time, and I'm going to pick Chuganova.
I will go the other way and I'll pick Douglas. I think I said it earlier. So, yeah, I've gone for Douglas.
Men's side then, 50 metres breaststroke. I'm going to say this now. If Adam Peaty was racing at these World Championships, I would pick Adam Peaty.
So would I. Yeah.
At the AP Race London International, he was racing Kyle Sockwell in jeans. If no one's seen the clips from that, it was fascinating to watch. And the times that he was throwing down in jeans were good. They were very, very good. Like translating wise, you're probably looking mid 26.
Oh, that's impossible to call, but
yeah, it is. Yeah. All right, cool. I'm just going off what chat I heard on Paul's side.
Right, okay, yeah.
He's not racing these World Championships, so we're talking about nothing. I'm going to go based off fastest swim at Seti Collie, and I'm going to go the Italian Viberati.
Ooh, interesting, because I was thinking about Martinenghi, whose stroke rate is incredible, very similar to Adams. But I haven't gone for either Italian swimmer. I've gone for Shimanovic, who is very good.
He's a 50 merchant, isn't he?
He's very good at the underwater phase. So I'm imagining he's going to be up at 15 or 20 metres first. And then it's just a case of holding on to the end, and I think he'll do enough. The levers are extremely long. It kind of reminds me of like Matt Grievous sort of levers when you watch him in the water. It looks massive. And I think he'll get the hand on the wall first.
100 and 200. I'm going to put them both together because usually... Oh, not actually, not usually. Over recent years, this one does get doubled up. But can Qing Haiyang double up here? He didn't have the Olympic Games that he wanted. He is the fastest in the 100 heading into this one, albeit we've got a new American, I think, world junior record holder, Campbell McKean, heading in. Qing Haiyang's gone a 58.6. That should be enough in a non-Adam Peaty 100 breaststroke. That should realistically be enough. We all know what happened in Paris in the men's 100 breaststroke. It just didn't. The pool didn't allow fast times. I think that Qing Haiyang should be the favourite, and he is my pick for gold in the 100. And do you know what? Not the two. Not the two.
Right up for grabs, that 200, especially with the Japanese swimmers that are coming through.
Yeah.
They are looking good.
They're looking very good. You've got Leon Marchand as well, by the way.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Who has shown his hand. He's gone a 208 this year, which is... That will have been in heavy training because that was at a Texas invite meet. So... Yeah, I'm going to put Marchand for the 2 breaststroke and Qing Haiyang for the 100.
Yeah, I was tossing and turning with the 100, whether it would be Martinenghi to come off the back of his Olympic gold. But again, like you said, the times were not quick. Like, what was it, 1 in 59.0 or something like that. It's going to take something quicker to win gold in Singapore, of which Qin is the one who's capable of going a sub 58. Will he go a sub 58? I'm not quite sure. Maybe like a 58.0 or 58.1. That's good enough to win. I think Qin is going to win the 100. And then a question that was very similar on your mind, will he back it up in the 200 as well? Or will we have some Japanese swimmers steal that throne? I think Qin will be good enough to win it. I think the 100 speed at the start is a bit too good, if I'm honest. If he can easily go a 60 point and just find it relatively easy, and then come back strong, kind of like we did for the world record, to be fair. So I think I've gone for a chin double for the breaststrokes.
Interesting. You're not very hot on Marchand this year.
I'm not, actually. We'll get to the IMs, don't worry.
Well, there you go. You've said it. Let's round out the individual predictions for this podcast with the individual medleys. And do I need to be... It's weird to say this. The 200 IM was historically deep at the Paris Olympics, but I am going to race through and just go Summer McIntosh for both, Dan.
Yes, I say the closest guaranteed gold you'll probably have in the 400 IM, I think, for the whole thing.
You could argue
Gretchen's
Ledecky's 15.
Oh, yeah,
There
very
There's two
close,
others.
yeah. Very close. Gold for McIntosh in both. World record potentially in both as well.
The
women's side is easy.
The men's side, can we do the same with Leon Marchand?
Yes, in the 400, and this is where my bold prediction comes in, because you've had a bold prediction already, haven't you, in the women's 200 free? I haven't actually really had one. I don't think Marchand is going to win this event. You can call me a homer if you want, but I actually think Duncan might do something in this 200 IM.
Okay. I like the logic.
He's not the fastest, like I'm trying to look now, 5th fastest going in. Behind Hubert Koss, can you believe, of all people. The two Americans are actually the fastest. You've got Casas and Foster. I suppose they're the ones to beat, but I think Duncan can get them. The freestyle is too strong. You could say Carson Foster's freestyle is good, but I think Duncan's stronger. And Duncan's getting better all the time at all of the strokes. I'm going to go for Duncan. I keep betting against Duncan for some reason. I think I've done it twice, and he's kind of shown me up twice, and I'm never going to do it again. So I'm going to go for a Duncan gold, because he's been the back-to-back Olympic silver medalist. He deserves a gold, and I think he's going to really push. And I don't know what he's doing for the 200 free. We actually don't know. Like we said at the very, very beginning, at time of recording, we don't know if he's racing it individually. He'll obviously do it in the relay. I think the biggest chance of him meddling, if he isn't doing a 200 free, for example, will be this 200 IM, and I think he'll really push it and challenge, and I'm going to go for him for gold. That's my bold one.
You've put me in a really tough spot, because you've just said like bold prediction, all this homer. I'm going to logic this for your Duncan prediction, because you're going to get backlash. I'm going to tell you now, because you've not picked Marchand. Duncan's had a preparation heading into these World Championships that he's not been afforded in recent years, given how trials run in Britain. He had an extended break off the back of the World Cup series. It wasn't straight off the back of Paris. So he's only full tapered and rested down once this year, which will be these World Championships. He did have a little bit of a taper heading into Olympic trials, because he wasn't secure with the individual in the 200 meters freestyle. But 200 meters individual medley, he was already selected, so he knew this event was on his radar, and he was going to get the chance to take on Marchand again. No matter what happened at trials, he could have gone 157. Duncan doesn't do that. He always swims fast whenever he's in the pool.
Yep.
And then you look at what Ben Higson and him have targeted this year. Obviously, he's no longer with Steve Tigg, so it's a bit of a transition over to a new coach. And they've targeted the 2 fly. And at Seti Colli, he raced the 100 breaststroke. I get it. I do get it, because for me, it does feel the 2 free, everyone wants that. The 2 IM feels like the driver for what Duncan's been doing this year.
Well, like you say, he had this time off, and I think he only did maybe I'm trying to remember what he said in the interview.
3 months. It was 1 month
3
getting
months?
back in, 1 month hard training, and 1 month racing tapering.
I mean, that's nothing, really, and he's still gone a 156.4. I think that's really good going off 3 months of work in asterisks. Let's say two months of work with a bit of taper. I think there's something special in the tank for Duncan here. Will he go faster than what he did PB wise, like 155.2, I think it is, something like that? That might be good enough for gold.
You don't think Marchand can get down to a 154? That would be the thing. That would be the thing that catches him.
Where's that? Let me go down this list. Marchand is 8th fastest here. He's gone a 157. That was in June, end of June, very recently.
Okay.
So Yeah, difficult. I've gone for Marchand for the 400. I don't think.
No, I agree there. I agree there.
Let's nip that in the bud. But I think the 200 is kind of up for grabs here. It's a bit of a bigger race. And I just think Duncan. But I call it a gut pick. But a lot of things are pointing to his win here. Like he's targeting the other events. The 200 fly, like he said, helps at the beginning of the 200 IM. Because he said the first 50 of the 200 fly is very similar to the first 50 in the 200 IM. Mm-hmm. So I think basically he's trying to swim the 200 IM or the 200 fly to replicate that first 50, which seems to have worked because the 200 fly has actually gone really quite well. And then, like you said, Seti Colley's racing breaststroke, of which he does that really very well as well. And then the freestyle speaks for itself, you know.
You've taught me into it.
Really?
I'm not going to disagree. Like, we've been homers on this. I've picked Marchand for the 2 breaststroke, the 2 fly, the 4 IM, obviously.
You know what? It's very difficult because we've gone through all of these individuals. I've given Marchand 1 gold.
That's what I was trying to bring up earlier. The 200 breaststroke, maybe.
That's the way it's landed, I suppose.
It's the way it's landed for you.
Yeah.
I've got him down for 3.
Wow.
I'll probably coin flip for the 2 IM and Duncan. Okay, relay time then. We'll try and rattle through these to end this podcast. So the mixed relays, mixed 4x1 freestyle relay, America for sure. Comfortably, yes.
I think so. Yeah.
I think so. Mixed medley relay, I think America as well. When you've got Reagan Smith, you've got I think it's Gretchen Walsh, which is the kicker, and they do have a breaststroker going 58 point. They do have Campbell McKean. I get it's his first World Championships. He's only like 18 years old. It's a lot of pressure.
But then you
to put
have
on
a
him.
man on freestyle, which is usually not the way you do
but they
a
could
medley.
They could put Jack Aiken, and then Tori Husk is so far ahead on it. Like the amount that Gretchen Walsh is ahead on the butterfly of the rest of the women's world is like when Britain had Adam Peaty on the back.
Yeah, no, I get that. You have to have Gretchen in. That is their biggest weapon, for sure. My argument is that maybe China, because they have someone like Chin Hyang and Jia Yu, so they're front heavy.
Potentially, but going into this meet, Ching Hyang and Campbell McKean are only 0.3, 0.4 apart.
Yep, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. And maybe Tori Husk is the ending speed that you need for America to cross the line. So I'm trying to think of
Alexi.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the Chinese last 100 meter freestyler on the women's side, which I'm struggling with top of my head. It's a toss up between the two. I think I'm going to go China because I wrote down China first because of the Qinghai effects, and maybe Campbell McKean. It's his first one. He might just, I don't want to say struggle, but usually their first meets are the hardest ones because it's the big unknown. Okay. But he might thrive. Who knows? I've gone for China.
Women's relay then, 4x1 medley, Gretchen Walsh effect. I'm going to go America.
Yeah, probably a world record potentially as well. Yeah,
most probably. Women's 4x2 America.
Yeah, well, with no Titmus for Australia, that's a huge loss. I think so. With Weinstein doing what she's doing, there's probably been Ledecky in as well. I think America. Yeah.
I mean, the Aussies have still got Lanny Pallister, Jamie Perkins.
Yep, that is true.
It's just they don't quite have beyond the 3.
You do need 4. You do need 4 swimmers.
Given the American depth. I know Australia potentially could have a huge advantage in if Molly O'Callaghan is firing.
Yeah, possibly. But then again, Ledecky comes in and throws down something ridiculous every time. There's 153 or something really split.
America. Women's 4x1. Now, this has been the Aussie golden ticket at World Championships for quite a while. I think this is the year this ends. I really do. The Americans had an all-time trials in the 100 meters freestyle for the women.
Yeah.
Tori Husk is the fastest going in individually. You've got Gretchen Walsh doing what she's doing. Simone Manuel seems to be back doing... Simone Manuel seems to be doing back when she was absolutely out of her peak. She's refound that form with Bowman. The depth is, I'd say, Aussie-like.
Yeah, Douglas is obviously going to be added to that as well. So they're all going 52s, of which this is what Australia used to be capable of with the addition of Emma McKeown and some like they were going. Kate Campbell, I think they were going 51s, which is the reason why they were dominant and almost unbeatable. But they're missing the strength and depth, I think, because Shayna Jack, I think, was it Paris, threw down some ridiculous time. She's not even racing, I don't think. So she's missing out completely. I think it is America's to lose. I don't know if the world record goes, because that's a ridiculously quick world record.
Ridiculous world record.
But the strength is too good, I think, on the women's on the American side.
Bit of a changing of the guard for the Aussie women. I kind of foresee them coming back at the Olympic cycle, because the names coming through are young.
Yeah.
But
it's
America
not there yet.
America don't have the lull of like needing young swimmers to come through, given the competitive nature of making an American team.
Yeah, you can almost see the next Australian swimmers coming through. Olivia Wunsch is actually in the team, but still not quite at your low 52 areas, which is where the other veterans, if you like, were at. So they haven't quite replaced Emma McKeer and Kate Campbell, swimmers like that, yet. Still got Molly O'Callaghan, of course. But America are, I think, too good this year. Tori Husk will go quicker, I think, than what she entered in. So that's a big caveat. No caveat. A big strength of theirs. So I think we've said America a lot so far. That's a clean sweep on the women's relays.
Okay, men's side to finish then. Men's 4x1 freestyle relay. I'm going to say it again, America.
Yeah, it is America. They may even break the world record, actually. Oh, I don't know. They've got some strong swimmers. America.
They've got some phenomenal swimmers on that one.
Yeah.
4x2. This one is going to be a huge fight between the Brits and the Americans. Close, as a British fan, closer than I dare want it to be. I think there's 3 Brits who are absolutely on it right now. I do not know the 4th and where they're at. Jack McMillan is a phenomenal 200 meters freestyle. He's never really got the chance to prove it for GB when it comes to games. He may well be in the final, and I think it will be a heat shootout between him and Tom Dean. Tom Dean is pre-selected for this relay based on his Paris swims. Tom Dean's a former Olympic champion in the 200 meters freestyle. Even if the 200 free didn't go how he would have wanted it to go at trials. In fact, he didn't even race it. He raced at 100, and that was that.
Yeah.
So we don't know where he's at in the 200 free.
Mm-hmm.
If Olympic champion Tom Dean shows up, Britain win this and break the world record.
Well, yes.
Because I think
that's correct.
James Guy is in the form of his life. Matt Richards, we've already talked earlier on in this podcast, I think is a 143 swimmer. And Duncan Scott is a 143 relay swimmer. Absolutely. No question about that. And he will have a race if Duncan is doing the anchor with an Americans, because the Americans have targeted this. They've got a 143 swimmer in Hobson. They've got a 143 relay swimmer in Carson Foster.
Yes.
This is as close a race as we're going to have. I'm going to be biased and say Brits, but
I don't know if you're biased with that.
Sure. I don't think it's as sure as it has been in previous years.
No, I wouldn't say it's guaranteed, of course, for us to have won Tokyo and Paris. But we were strong favourites for that. I still think we are favourites for this gold.
The way Jimmy's swimming as well.
Yeah, that does help.
That might be the difference. The fact that I think Jimmy is now 144.
Hopefully he can. God, I
think he will lead this relay off. They will give him
I would have
the
thought
chance
so.
to go 144.
Yeah, I hope he's given that choice. I hope he's given that chance, if I'm honest. I don't think you're biased in picking Brits. Going off previous form, you have to kind of go for the Brits, don't you?
But the American depth has come through now.
Very much so, yeah. Yeah. The Hobson effect is for sure going to help the team. Be interesting if he leads, actually. And whether, because Jimmy's a racer, like probably the biggest racer you probably have in swimming.
Yeah,
he will follow.
Matt.
Yeah, he will follow Hobson for sure. I think, which we mentor. That's a 44 that swim then if he follows him. I think GB. I think GB will do it. They won't let the Americans go past them. I think if they do the same tactics as what they've done at Paris and just hold them off for the first 150, then come through on the final 50, I think that might be enough. It's just kind of depends on what Hobson does, if I'm honest.
What do you reckon?
He's a big sort of link for America. If you lose him, if he is off slightly, he goes a 44.6. That's a good second. The second gone. It's a big hit. So GB is my pick.
Men's 4x1 medley. This is based on PB rather than swims I've seen this year. And I'm going to go China to defend their Paris swim. Because you've got Zhai Yu to lead it off in 52 low, which America are stuffed because they don't have a 52 low backstroker anymore. Or right now. They might, tell you what, they might do. Jack Aiken
You never know.
could come through in a 52 low. Qing Haiyang has the advantage on the breaststroke. Butterfly, that's your area if you're America. You're hoping Shane Casas comes good. Or Darrows comes through in the 100 fly. But then Panzanler at the end, he split, what was it, a 45 point? He split a 45 point.
Yeah.
In Paris.
But
if you do that in any relay, you win.
Yeah.
I'm just going based off Paris. If they repeat Paris, they're champions. And the fact that America have lost a backstroke. They've got stronger in the breaststroke. I'll give you that.
They've
got stronger in the breaststroke. And Alexi's got a bit faster as well. I'm still going to go China.
Yeah, China's weakest link is fly, like it was for Paris. Because the front two are strong. Panzanler is obviously Pan. So then kind of relies on the fly swimmer, who came good in Paris. Let's face it, good enough anyway. I've got China written down, but the more I think of it, the more I think America. But I'm just going to go with my first pick. I think China will do it, and I think Zhai Yu's got to be on it, mind you. He's got to go 52 0, 52.
He usually does
very low.
Race,
he usually does. You're right. So they're quite reliant on him because Qin Haiyang isn't the fire force as what he was when he was going 57s at will. So it's going to be close. It's going to be very close. I think the Americans will really want that revenge, mind you. I'm really talking myself into picking America here.
Go on, do it.
I'm going to change it. Yeah, I'm going to go America. I've changed it. Yeah.
Okay. We've got one in each camp.
Yeah.
It's always helpful to have. Okay, and that just about rounds up this week's episode of the Propulsion Swimming Podcast. I hope everyone has enjoyed our gold medal predictions as we head into these championships. This is our biggest podcast of the year. I know we previously say like British Trials is because we're a British podcast, but going through event by event of any major meet is a big podcast. If you've got to this point of the episode, thank you so much for sitting, listening, and hopefully putting your own thoughts forward. We'd love to have a debate on certain races. We're not going to get them all right. This is not a guide to complete gold medals. This is just our thoughts heading into championships and the best that we can do.
Yes. Yeah, don't be taking everything for gospel because we've gone bold on some races. But I think we've got majority right. I like to think anyway.
You'd like to think, sure.
Yeah.
Maybe 50%. Hopefully a little bit over 500.
Yeah.
Okay. That just about rounds up this week's episode of the Propulsion Swimming Podcast. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And me and Dan will catch you guys very, very soon.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll catch you on the next one.
You've been listening to the Propulsion Swimming Podcast with Scott and Dan. We want to thank you for joining us and invite you to subscribe to the show, as well as checking out the Propulsion Swimming YouTube channel for weekly tutorials and videos to get your swimming fix. We will be back next week. Until then, we'll catch you on the next one.